Okay, guys, it needs to be quiet so that you can hear me. We are going to do our notice and I wonder. Remember, we have our SOAR expectations. So you should be in your seat. You should raise your hand if you have a question or you need to get up. Please do not walk around. Make sure you're using appropriate language. You're keeping your hands and your feet to yourself. No eating or drinking in my class. If you need to eat something, ask for permission and go eat outside the door. Make sure the door is open so that you can be seen. Make sure you're being kind and respectful to the sub and to everyone in class. Remember, there's no gum chewing. Okay, so today this is our what I wonder, what I notice. Okay, so without talking for 1 minute, it needs to be completely silent for 1 minute. And then you're going to come up with your I wonder about this picture and your notice about this picture. Okay, so please set a timer for 1 minute. When the timer goes off, they need to do a high five partner. They know what that means. They high five somebody and that's who they sit with. And then whoever the shortest partner is, they go first. And then that person would say, I noticed blank about the picture. What do you notice? And then their partner would say, I noticed blank and I wonder. What do you wonder? And then the original person will tell what they wonder. It shouldn't take very long, maybe 2 minutes. And then you can call on some different people to tell what they noticed and what they wondered. Okay, so go ahead and set your timer for 1 minute now, and then come back once you've gone through with everybody what they noticed and wondered. You just, after the partners do it for like 2 minutes, then pick like 3 people to share. Okay, so we're gonna move on to our agenda for today. So please take out your agenda. We are going to work through section 1 today, 2 tomorrow, section 3 on Wednesday, 4 on Thursday, and 5 on Friday. I'm going to provide you with your study guide today. It's already on Google Classroom along with my PowerPoint. Your study guide will be due on Monday. We'll go over the study guide on Monday and you'll have your test next Tuesday. Today, you already did your what I noticed, what I wonder. We're going to finish section 1, the end of the Roman Empire in the West. And if you're reading it in the book, pages 42 and 43. And we're going to finish slide 14 in TCI. Students will understand why the Roman Empire fell. Your homework tonight is TCI slide 14. And then the TCI video activity slides 1 through 5. And I'll show you where those are again. And I don't have it on here, but let's add it. Let's add it and put study guide. Due Monday. So in your agenda, please add study guide due Monday. So please make sure you write that into your agenda. Give the students about a minute to write everything down, and then they can put their agendas away, and they need their Chromebook out to do today's lesson. So go ahead, you can pause the video until they get it written down, and then unpause the video when you're ready to begin. Okay, for your homework, the slideshow is Unit 1 Lesson 3. You're going to click on it. And I showed you guys this on Friday. So we already read this. You're going to go to 2. You're going to play this video and watch it. Slide 3 we already read. Slide 4 you're going to play the video and watch it. And then slide 5 you're going to answer the quiz questions after we read. So don't do them now. Please walk around and make sure nobody's answering them right now. After we go over the Google slide, they'll have all the answers for the quiz. If you can't find the answers in the slide, then reread that section. So you could just click on it and it will open up to read this section. And it's a fairly short section. Okay, so that is for homework. But for today, you're going to go back to your current assignment, and everyone's going to click on Classroom Activity, Unit 1, Lesson 3. We've already done the preview and the vocabulary, and we are now on activity. Okay, and we are going to go to slide 14. So it says, read section 1, the end of the Roman Empire in the West. In the student text, complete the corresponding reading notes in your notebook. So it says, identify and explain examples of the different causes that led to the collapse of the Roman Empire. So the political instability. So we're going to go over to the Google slide. It is on Google Classroom, so let me show you where it's at, because you guys need to open it. So if you go to your Google Classroom, and you go to classwork, it says the Legacy of Roman Empire Study Guide. I have your study guide here along with your PowerPoint, so our Google slide. So let's open it now so we can answer our questions. So we've already done all of this, and it says problems in the late empire. So I notice it's talking about political instability. So if I come back over here, I'm going to close that one out so I don't get confused. It tells us to draw. I'm going to type in here the political instability. And it says the political instability, they never developed a way to peacefully transfer political power to a new leader. So I'm going to copy and paste that. So I'm going to come over here and I am going to paste it in. And then I'm going to go back over. It says, when emperor died, ambitious rivals with independent armies often fought each other to control for the empire. Oops. So I'm going to copy that too. And we're going to put that in there. I'm wondering if I can make this smaller. I hope that I can. And then many times the Praetorian Guard chose the new ruler. So like the army of the emperor. Okay. I guess it will not let me make it smaller. Okay, now we're going to go over to economic problems. So again, I'm going to click on here. And we're going to come back to economic and social problems. To finance a huge army, its citizens had to pay heavy taxes. So we're going to copy that. And it's going to go over here in this one. Okay, and let's see if I can make it larger so you can see it. It is not going to let me scroll to make it bigger. So to finance huge armies, to finance its huge army, its citizens had to pay heavy taxes. And we're going to add to it that unemployment was a serious problem. And we already talked about this on Friday, so we're just filling it in. There, if I go there. Ooh, that makes it much smaller. We don't want that. Let's see. Can I make it this way? And this way? Nope. Okay, social problems. I think we talked about social problems already also. So let's look and see. Our social problems, there was growing corruption and decline in the spirit of citizenship. We talked about the government and how it was corrupt. Remember that when an emperor died, whoever would offer the Praetorian Guard the most money or like the best things would get chosen to be the new emperor. It didn't have anything to do with what was best for the Roman Empire. Okay, so let's skip this. And that was it for that one. There was growing corruption and a decline in spirit of citizenship. And then we have the weakening frontiers. The final problem was the weakening of the empire's frontier. I believe Andre was the one that talked about, because it was so big, it was hard to defend, and it took weeks for leaders in Rome to communicate with generals. So we're going to copy this. And we're going to put it in here. And then the last thing was when they would conquer new people, those people would then settle inside the empire, and they had little loyalty to the army. So new people on the borders would join the army, but had little loyalty to the empire. Okay, so hopefully you can see that. Okay, and then it should save it, and then click out of it. And then those are all the things that led to the collapse of the Roman Empire. Now it says complete the diagram to show the chain of events that led the breakup of the Roman Empire and the rise of the Byzantine Empire. So first, in 330 CE, Constantine decided to blank. So we're going to go back over to our PowerPoint. Sorry, I clicked off of it. So in 330 CE, Constantine took the step that changed the future of the Roman Empire. He moved his capital. It was in Rome. He moved it 850 miles east to the ancient city of Byzantium. So we're going to come over here, and it's going to go in this first box. So he moved his capital 850 miles east to the ancient city of Byzantium. So I can zoom in on this. Hopefully you can see the other stuff. Okay, then it says, then power in the empire was what? Okay, so I'm going to go back out. So he renamed the city New Rome. He later named the city Constantinople. It is now known as Istanbul. After Constantine, the vast empire was ruled by two emperors, one based in Rome and one based in Constantinople. Okay, so if I come back here, it says, then power in the empire was what? So it was ruled by two emperors, one based in Rome and one based in Constantinople. So we're going to come back over here and we're going to put it in there. So the vast empire was ruled by two emperors, one based in Rome, one based in Constantinople. If you need the sub to pause so you can get everything copied, raise your hand so that they know to pause it for you. Okay, the next one says in 410 CE, so I'm going to come back to my notes, Rome became the capital of just the western part of the empire. Constantinople was the capital of the eastern part of the empire. So it becomes two parts. So remember that this Roman Empire is so huge that it goes around the entire Mediterranean Sea. It has parts of northern Africa in it. It has Italy in it. It has Greece in it. It goes all the way to Syria. So it's just this vast empire. So they've broken into two pieces where they have two different people ruling it. So Rome became the capital of just the western part of the empire, and Constantinople was the capital of the eastern part of the empire. The emperors in Rome were threatened by invading Germanic tribes. In 1410 CE, one of these tribes attacked and looted Rome. So that's what we're going to put in here. Come over here. In 1410 CE, what happened? It was attacked and looted one of these tribes. We need to put the Germanic tribes. So one of the Germanic tribes attacked and looted Rome. Okay, and then it says in 476 CE, what happened? In 476 CE, the last emperor in the West was driven from his throne. The western half of the empire began to dissolve into separate kingdoms, so it's no longer going to be considered part of the Roman Empire. So in 476, and we need to put CE. I don't know why I didn't have that in there. CE. The last emperor in the West was driven from his throne, and the western half of the empire began to dissolve into separate kingdoms. Now, the eastern part continues to thrive. It actually continues to thrive for another 1,000 years. It's just the western part of the empire that dissolves into separate kingdoms. So finally, the East, closed it out again, sorry. So the eastern part, which is known as Byzantine Empire, the empire continued for another 1,000 years. Today, we refer to the Eastern Empire as the Byzantine Empire. So we're going to come over here and stick that in. Okay, so hopefully that is done. Now, slide 15 you're not going to do because slide 15 we're going to work on tomorrow. So we're going to come back over here and we can start our video activity. Whatever you finish, whatever you don't finish will become homework. So close out what we just worked on, make sure it's all done, and then open your activity for homework. So remember, it's a slideshow, Unit 1, Lesson 3. So that's slide 1. We're going to go to slide 2. I'm going to show the video from here. So you don't have to watch the video on yours. You can watch it on mine. Okay, does everyone have this open? If you need to pause so everyone can get there, go ahead. They actually don't. They can just be open on slide 5. If we go to slide 5, let's look at our questions that we're looking for. So our quiz questions are, after the Roman Empire was divided, the western part was called the Byzantine Empire. Political instability was one cause for the end of the Roman Empire. Tough economic and social problems were a key into Rome. Fortunately, Rome borders and new frontiers were protected, allowing Rome to last. For historians, the fall of Rome marks the end of the ancient world and the beginning of the Middle Age. So we have to answer all these questions, and we're going to get them from the videos that we're going to watch. So you can open, you guys can be on slide 5 with your quiz questions opened. And then as the video's playing, anything that they answer for you, you can go in and answer the questions. Okay, so I'm going to start it.
Over the summer holiday, you have been lucky enough to travel to Italy and visit your Zia Giulia. Zia is aunt in Italian. She's the owner and proprietor of a small shop in Venice called Lusso Romano. She sells a number of different items in her store that are inspired by ancient Rome. You have spent the summer taking in the sights that bring to life what you know of the old Roman Empire. In return for her hospitality, you have agreed to help sort some items that just came into the shop. She needs you to uncrate the items and then be ready to place them on display in one of the themed aisles in the store. Aisle 1, Art. Aisle 2, Architecture and Engineering. Aisle 3, Language. Aisle 4, Philosophy and Law. If you can correctly sort all 8 items, your Zia promises a spectacular trip on her Vespa through Italy to see more of the former Roman Empire.
Okay, we already read this. So it's just talking about the grandma shop. Okay, here's our next video.
By 500 CE, the Roman Empire had divided. The Eastern Empire, known as the Byzantine Empire, lasted for over 1,000 years, but the Western Empire broke into smaller kingdoms. The Western Empire collapsed due to political instability, economic and social issues, and the weakening of the frontiers. The legacy of the Roman Empire can still be seen around us in art, architecture, engineering, language, law, and philosophy. Modern artists still follow Roman or Greco-Roman styles in their arts. Murals and mosaics, similar to Roman ones, decorate modern buildings and public spaces. Roman architectural influences are seen in the structures of many modern buildings. The Romans also were talented engineers, whose construction methods and standards survived thousands of years. Many words and word parts in modern languages, such as English, French, and Spanish, came from Latin. Roman numerals appear today on clocks, in books, and in movie credits. Roman ideals such as Stoicism, the rule of law, and justice shaped law and government in many modern nations. Examples include today's law courts and documents such as the U.S. Declaration of Independence and the U.S. Constitution. The legacy of ancient Rome is significant and can still be seen, heard, and felt in the world around us.
Oops. Okay, now go back to slide 5. Open up your quiz. After the Roman Empire was divided, the western part was called the Byzantine Empire. Is that true or false? If you're not sure, you can rewatch the video. It opened up telling you this. This was the very first thing it told you. Political instability was one cause of the end of Roman Empire. True or false? Tough economic and social problems were a key end to Rome. Fortunately, Rome's borders and fortunately means yes. Rome's borders and new frontiers were protected, allowing Rome to last. And for historians, the fall of the Rome marks the end of the ancient world and the beginning of the Middle Ages. Okay, so you should be able to answer all those questions. If you need to rewatch the video, you can. But remember that you're getting points for this. So if you get it wrong, rewatch the video and then redo it. You should be able to resubmit. You can reset it. Okay? And then if you finish and there's still time, open up your, let's go back out of here. Go back to your Google Classroom. And open up your study guide. And you can actually start answering questions on your study guide from the Google Slides and from what we just did. So I think that that's the right one. Hopefully there's not an error on your side. Let's see if it's going to open now. There it goes. So you can, nope. I don't know why it's not working. Let's see. Let me try it again. You can start working on your side. I think for you, if you click on it, you can hit open with Kami and then it will work. But here's all your study guide questions and go through and start answering them. You can answer all the way up to problem 9, I think, so far we've answered. Yeah, I think you can answer all the questions up to problem 9 and then you don't have to wait and do it over the weekend. And then I will see you guys tomorrow.